I'm just going to work in C major here, which is a nice easy key to work in. In piano, it's just the white keys. You don't have to worry about any accidentals, no sharps, no flats. So what I'm going to do is just play my C major scale in position here, starting with my middle finger on the C on the A string. So those are the notes in the C major scale. Whenever we're playing in a certain key, for example the key of C, that's all it's referring to is we're using notes in the C major scale. And they're also going to use chords that will be made up out of notes from the C major scale. So I've got a 3-chord progression going here. It starts off with a nice normal C major, D minor 7, to an E minor 7, to a D minor 7 again. It's just going to loop back and forth like that. So it's just C major, D minor 7, the secret there is I'm just using chords that are using notes from the scale. It's diatonic. So the very first chord I'm using is just C major, and that's going to consist of C, E, and G. So within C major, those are called your chordal notes, or the notes that make up the chord. They've what we deemed the good sounding notes. The next chord is D minor 7. So that's got the second note of E, the fourth, and the sixth. So I'm actually using notes from my C major scale to make up those chords. It would also have the C added in as the flat 7. The next chord is an E minor 7. I'm going to start on the third note of C major, E, to the fifth note, G, to the seventh note, which is B. And again, your flatted 7 or your minor 7 will be the D natural up on the 7th fret here. So I'm using notes just from my C major scale to make up these chords. So that's how I know I'm in the key of C. So, by all means, we really can say that C major notes are fair game when we're playing in the key of C. All of these are going to sound relatively good. Now, just like with anything, every note has its place, and they have their places that they shouldn't be as well, right? So, to start, you can really just stick with those chordal notes if you really want to practice and try and just work on getting a good sound and getting that technique and finding where your notes are on your scale. So just trying those up and down in any order. Playing it as an exercise here, and it sounds like music. Then we just want to mix it up a little bit. So there, I was just messing around with those. I didn't have anything planned there that I was going through. As long as I follow those notes with each of the chords, it's going to sound good. Now, that doesn't mean that you just need to follow those notes each time. You end up getting stuck into shapes and into patterns and things like that. And what you really need to do is explore all of the notes in the C scale before you can really be comfortable with the soloing. So I know sometimes the D is not going to sound good over the C chord, but there are times where it will work as a passing note. So if you want to get from D or from C to E really quickly, maybe you want to throw the D in between, because the D doesn't sound very good with it. But if I started off with a C and use the D to get myself up to the E, 1, 2, 3, it might sound a little bit better. See, then I landed back on the D. But if you see, even if you just go through the scale, at some point all these notes are going to sound relatively good. So those are the basics to it. You just really need to practice over your C major scale. One of the ways I like to get out of a rut and just staying in this kind of box shape is to practice it all over the place. See how many different places you can play your C major scale. For example, if I take my one in position here, move the E and the A up to our A string and D string, I can get a different one going here, and I'll tab this out for you. Same notes, different shape, but it also gives me access to these higher notes. I'm already kind of right here to hit my D or my E if I really want to. I can play the scale up the octave. Just gives me a couple more notes to work with that I feel more comfortable. Still the same notes. So, just that easy. The other way to try it is try doing that all over the place. See where else you can play your C scale. If we start on our 8th fret, we can do it in the same position we did up here. And we can actually extend and use the D and the E and our F on our G string. Just give me a bunch more notes to work with. I can also transfer that position the same way I did up here with our 3, 5, 7. We can do it 8, 10, 12. And it gives us, a little bit more access, and also as the frets closer together, it gives us access to more notes in the scale. The more notes we can play all over the place, the more variety we're going to have in our soloing. So you really need to become well versed with that. We can also do the same position we did up here, 12 frets higher. So that works just as well too. It gives me a different frequency range. So really what you need to do is find as many natural notes as you can, all the notes that are in the C major scale, and you can use those to your advantage to soloing. There's no real secret to it aside from practicing, putting in the time, letting your ears do the work. So now just leave this with you for a little while, just let it loop for a while, so you can jam along with it if you want to. Thanks for watching.